Hello everyone! We are going to talk about color. We are going to discuss what the color wheel is, what the colors are, how do you get shade and how do you get tint, what is a warm color and what is a cool color, and why do we need to know this? So, to begin with, we are going to get a piece of paper. And we're going to be using regular paint, but you can use watercolor, you can use the marker with water method, you can use crayons, you can use colored pencils, you can use just about any medium to kind of get the blend look. The paint is what we're going to be using just because we're going to do a lot of painting, and so we want to get familiar with the process and how it works. So, to begin with, on our piece of paper, this is a color wheel. We are going to create a color wheel, and we're going to discuss each part of this basic color wheel. The color wheel in color theory can get really complex. Today we're going to keep it pretty simple. So to begin with, this is just a canvas piece of paper. We're going to draw a circle. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just here for an experience, not a product. And then you're gonna eye where the middle of the circle is and put your center dot. And then we're going to create a line going all the way down. And if you want to use a ruler and get it exact, you can use a ruler and get it exact. And then we're gonna cut our pizza in half the other way. So now we have 4 slices of pizza to share. And then in each slice of pizza, we're going to make 2 more slices. So just eye where you're going. So now we have 1, 2, 3 slices inside of our 4th. We're going to do the same thing on all of the other 4ths. So just kind of eyeball where you want to go. And make another slice for another friend. And then you can take that across to the one diagonal. Okay, so now we have a lot of slices on our pizza. Okay. To begin with, we are going to talk about primary colors. Primary colors are some of the most important colors because they are the colors that you can make other colors with. So, primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. And you can see they're kind of spread out on our color wheel. They're not side by side. So we are going to take some paint. And I'm just going to do some little dabs. Whoop, that's a big one. Okay, so red, blue, and yellow. So we're gonna get our brush and we're just gonna fill in where our primary colors are gonna go. So I'm gonna start with red. I'm just gonna get a little bit on my paintbrush and then I'm gonna fill in that part of my pie. And it doesn't matter what brush you're using for this. Okay, and then after you get that done, you want to make sure and wash your brush out and dry it. And then, with a clean brush, we're going to do the same thing with our blue. And we're going to put our blue right here in this square under our half, where we halved the pizza. So I'm not using a whole lot of paint, and I'm just smoothing it out as I go. And then I'm going to wash that out of my brush. And I'm gonna dry it off. And then I'm gonna pick up my yellow. And this one is going to go right beside the half line that goes up and down. So I did my edges of this slice, and now I'm going to come in and fill in the middle. Okay, so now I'm going to wash that brush out. And it looks pretty much like school. These are the colors that are typically associated with primary school or elementary school. So that is a good way you can remember your primary colors. Okay, for our second, we are going to talk about secondary colors. They are directly in between our primary colors. So we have green, and then we have purple, and then there's like violet purple here. That is also kind of a secondary color, but it's in between. And then we have orange. Okay, so to get these, we are going to mix the colors that it's in between. So to get green, you can use your brush or you can use a palette knife. Either way, if you're using your brush, you want to make sure that you're washing and drying in between each pool of paint, or you'll contaminate your whole pile of paint. So we're going to take a little bit of blue and put right in between our blue and our yellow. And then we're going to take a little bit of our yellow and we're going to add over here into our blue. And you can see we're getting a green. All right, so with our green, we're going to put that directly in between our blue and our yellow. If you didn't make enough, you can make a little bit more. Then we're gonna fill that in. So now we have our green slice. So this is our first secondary color right here. All right, I'm gonna wash my brush off. And then we are going to move to orange. So to get orange, we're gonna pull some yellow. And then we're gonna pull some red. And we're gonna mix together. So the more red you have, the more of a red orange it's gonna be. And the more yellow you have, the more of a yellow orange it's gonna be. So now we're gonna take the orange and we're gonna put it right in the middle between the yellow and the red. All right, so there is our orange. We're gonna wash our brush. And we're going to move to the red and the blue. That is going to give us a purple. So we're gonna pull some red and we're gonna mix some blue. The more blue you have, the more of a dark purple you get. All right, and that's gonna go right in the middle. And I don't know if I made enough purple, so I might have to make some more. So we're mixing our colors over here on the palette or the plate or whatever you're using, but sometimes it's beneficial to just take the two colors and blend together on your piece. That helps us get some dimension on the actual artwork. Okay, so then we're gonna rinse off our purple. And now, if you want to label these on your color wheel, you can. So this was a secondary, and then this was a secondary, and then this one was a secondary, and this one was a primary, this one was a primary, this was also. Okay. So the next one in between, these are called tertiary. So that is going to be our yellow green, our blue green, and our violet, red violet, and our red orange, and our yellow orange. Okay, to get the tertiaries, we're going to mix the two colors on the sides of our empty pies. So right now it kind of looks like a candy cane, like a Christmas candy. We're gonna fill that in. So we're going to take our orange that we made and mix it with yellow. So you can take just a little bit more yellow, take a little bit of your yellow and put right into your pile of orange. And you're gonna see that makes a yellow orange. And then you can put that in between. So it changes the shade of the orange and makes it more of like a yellow orange. So this would be beneficial if we were painting an orange. Parts of an orange are darker, parts of the orange are going to be more yellow, and then parts of the orange are what we call orange. But when they mix together, they make a new color. Okay, so over here we're going to mix our yellow and our green. So just take some yellow and put it right over in your green pile that you made. And then we're gonna lay that in the middle. And now we have a brighter green or a more yellow green. So this is beneficial if you are painting grass or a tree or leaves. There is no leaf or grass or a tree that is just one solid green. It is combined, a combination of multiple greens. So you would use this combination to get your tree or grass to look like it is more of a three-dimensional image rather than just a simple flat green grass. Okay, over here we're gonna mix our green and our blue. So we don't have this original green anymore. So to get this original green, we took blue and yellow and mixed together. So now we're going to add a little bit more blue to the green. And then you are going to get a blue-green or turquoise. It also is described as emerald green sometimes. or like an evergreen or a forest green. So just looking at what we have so far right here, you can see where all of these colors would be really beneficial if we were painting grass or trees. Okay, so down here in between our purple and our blue, we are going to mix that. And then we are going to get different shades of violet. So we're going to take a little more blue. Into our violet. And this right here, a lot of times people think, oh, that's blue. So technically, in the art world, this blue is called cobalt blue. This blue that we're painting right now, in between the purple and the blue, is called ultramarine. These are really beneficial whenever we're painting something like the ocean or maybe a sky. So this has a little bit more purple tint, and it's called ultramarine, and this is your true blue called cobalt. These colors are the most popular, most commonly used colors in the studio. Okay, so over here we're gonna mix our purple and our red. So we're gonna add just a little bit more red to our purple that we had made. And we get kind of more of like a violet. Sometimes depending on how you mix it, you could get more of like a burgundy. I'm going to pour out a little bit more color. So we got this burgundy by mixing some purple with our red, which gives it a little bit more of a violet. But you could mix a tiny bit of brown or black in your red to get a burgundy. It just takes on more of a black or brown tone, whereas this one's gonna take on more of a purpley tone. Okay, so our last tertiary color to fill in is between our red and our orange. So we are going to take our orange and we are going to add the red. So this one should be somewhere right in between your red and your orange. So we have red, then we have a little bit more red orange, and then we have an orange orange, we have a yellow orange, a yellow. You can see as it moves more towards the other primary color, it starts taking on that tint and that shade, that coloring of your primary color. So we just mixed this whole colorful pizza from 3 colors, red, blue, and yellow. So you can always create as long as you have red, blue, and yellow. But you can add two more important players. There is white and black. This can be substituted for brown. These are key players in shades and tints, also known as shadows and highlights. So a lot of us like pictures with animals, and those require shadows and highlights. So anytime that you have a picture, a painting, and it looks flat, it just looks like one-dimensional, one color, just really basic plain, and you wanted it to look a little more realistic, then you are probably needing to add shades and highlights, shadows and highlights. So they are called the black. We're gonna put right in the middle. We're just gonna put a black circle right in the middle. And this is going to represent our shadow, which creates shades. So for a shade, we could we'll just do, let's see, what do we have here? We're gonna do the orange, and we're gonna add a touch of the black just right over here on the side. And it makes more of like a brown. And then it flows right into the black. So this is a shade of the orange, and this is the dark shadow. If we wanted to do a tint, we would take a little bit of white into the orange, and we would put it back here on this side. So this makes it lighter. The tinting makes it lighter. So you can think of a shade as a shadow, and you can think of the tint like a highlight. So a highlight is an area that is lighter. Sometimes it is referred to as the shadow, the darker area, the mid-tone, the basic general area, and the highlight, the lighter, brighter area. So these three colors are key to getting your piece of art, your item, your whatever you're painting to look like it has dimension. Like grass. Grass would have different shades of green. I'll show you right here. So I'm gonna take one shade of green and I'm gonna fleck up. And if I'm a beginner, I could stop there and that would be fine. If I was a little more advanced and I wanted to take it a little bit further, I could make the middle, one of the middle greens, and I could add in. So I still have my dark areas and then I have my lighter areas. And then I could take the yellow, which is the lightest, and put some highlights on it. And now it looks like a complete bush of grass or a fern. So the dark areas in the grass represent the grass that is down deep or being hidden or being shadowed by a blade of grass in the front. And then the yellow area represents the grass where the sun is hitting it. So the sun would be coming from over here and hitting the top, which is the highlight, and then it creates a dark spot back here, which is the shadow. So that's the same thing that you use on the color wheel and with painting. And then the very last thing we want to talk about, there are what is called warm colors and cool colors. So this whole half of our color wheel over here, or our pizza, is called the warm colors. So you can think of this as like the hot, sunny, yellow, orangey, like really hot, like when you start the stove and it's hot. So it's yellows, reds, oranges. Those are your warm colors. And then this whole side over here, that's going to be our purples and our blues and our greens. These are called the cool colors. So you can think of that as like cold, like snow is cold and blue, like green, like people in the winter, when they get cold, they get blue. So you can think of the cool blue and then the warm yellow. So we have warm colors, cool colors. We have primary colors that we created all the colors from. The secondary colors were created using 2 primary colors. And the tertiary colors were created using secondary colors. So it's a 3-level system. Primaries made our secondaries, and our secondaries made our tertiaries. And then we can add some dark to make a shade or a shadow, or we can add some white to make a lighter highlight or a tint. So this is just a basic rundown of the color wheel. It can get overwhelming and complex, and sometimes it's a little hard to understand to begin with. But the best thing that you can do to practice is just sit down and make a circle, and then put your primary colors that you just remember. Those are yellow, blue, and red. Just like elementary school, yellow, blue, and red. And then intermix, and you can use color pencils, you can use crayons, you can use paint, you can use watercolor, you can use markers, you can use anything. So just while you're bored and you're sitting around and you want to practice something colorful in art, but you don't want to get the paint out, or you can't get the paint out, just practice your color theory. And the more you mix your paints, and the more you play with it, and the more you add the colors that work together, then you will start seeing things differently, and your art will start advancing to new levels. So just start where you are and practice it, and then you will see some amazing growth.